Today's episode was made possible through the continuing support of the great and wonderful Crazy Joe. Thank you, sir, for all that you do, and thank you to everyone on Patreon. If you're interested in supporting these, check out the links below and see how you can get involved and find a community of like-minded weirdos just like you. Thank you. Hi there, guys, and welcome back to the shop. I'm Chris Bowden, and you're not. Today, we're going to be doing conduit. This is going to be kind of a cool thing. I want a way to get a microphone cable from here because the way that we're setting up this particular Cyclorama studio, it's going to be working from a lectern. This is for the Church of Tesla project. So almost everything is dude at a podium, ta-da, right? Everything from a lectern. And it's wherever possible, just absolutely wherever possible. Always use a wired cable plugged in microphone whenever you can. There's times for a wireless mic, absolutely, but whenever possible, always use a plugged-in microphone. And like for these videos, like right now, I'm using a body pack microphone, a little Tascam body pack rig. This is the DR10L. I love it. I use it all the time. But the advantage of having a plug-in microphone, and this isn't wireless, this is actually recording here in my pocket. But even with this, when I produce this video, I still have to synchronize the audio and the video in post. So before I do a shot, there's always a, sync thing. With the studio setup down here, I'm using a studio camera that never moves. It's mounted with a teleprompter. It's going to be there all the time. And I have the luxury here of having a fixed studio setup, so I don't have to use the body pack. I could, it'd certainly work, but it's better and cheaper. This costs like 200 bucks. It's cheaper to just have a cable and a microphone. And with the lectern, I have a perfect microphone placement, and I can have everything wired in and have it set up once, and then every time after that, I can just walk down, turn on the lights, hit record, and off you go. And I don't have to synchronize the audio in post. It's already done in camera, and that just works. So to do that, though, I don't want to have a mic cable running along the floor. It's just bad. That's fine for like a quick, one and done setup, but when you have a studio environment, it's way better to have nice, clean, open floors. So wired microphone, and instead of just straight across the floor and up to the camera, I have to go down from the lectern, back into the wall, up behind the wall, across the ceiling and down. Total pain in the ass. If you were just setting up for like a quick live event, you wouldn't do this. It's huge, huge work. But for a studio environment, well, it totally makes sense to take an hour or two and do it in right. And instead of just running the cable in the wall, there's a couple different ways to do that. You could build a wall plate, solder in some nice star quad, and up and off you go. But if I do that, it's fixed. I can't change it easily. Once I put the paneling in this wall, even my skinny ass can't get behind there. So the way I'm doing it, you can get cheap Carlon. This is Carlon. I thought it was Cantex. You'll see a couple different, this is Cantex and this is Carlon. So two common competing brands in the world of gray PVC electrical conduit. This stuff is great. Usually you would use this for direct burial applications. You'd use this outside. In here, works fine. It's cheap, it's easy to work with. I can glue it together just like PVC pipe, and it's super fast. For this application, this conduit is just fine. I don't need the extra shielding or ground loop problems of dealing with metal conduit. This is easy and quick, and it just works for this. So what I'm going to do is simply put a 90 back here, run straight up, grab another 90. I'm going to drill a hole up behind our wall to get us through. That's going to be fun. And then we're just going to zip right along inside the ceiling joist, do another 90 at that end, and drop out right to where we know the camera is going to be nearby. And then when I want to run this, I'm using 1¼ inch conduit. I don't know if I said 1.5 inches, but I'm using 1¼ inch conduit. That's the smallest size you would want to use for something like this. You might even want to go up to like 2 inch if you can, because this lets me pass an XLR cable or two with the ends on it. And that's just super. You just shove it right down the pipe. You may have to use a fish tape if you're, especially through 3 bends. If you're not a conduit person, important rule, and this is sacred, this is holy. Do not put 4 bends in a single run. Okay, stop at 3. Pros, I know the rules are different. I'm talking to the amateur guys. Okay, you can't have, if you put 4 bends along the conduit, you won't be able to get a wire through it. It just won't work. It's math. So for me, I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'm totally fine. And I don't really need that third. I'm just putting the third on that end as a strain relief because I'm going to have a lot of cable hanging down. And if you have a sharp end, cables don't like that, especially like AV type cables, networking cables too, really don't like a sharp bend. So just by putting this nice sweep 90 on the end of that, that gives me happy cables. And we like happy cables. Cables are expensive, take good care of them. So that's what I got. I'm gonna run some conduit. You guys enjoy the time lapse. All right, guys, so this is the part we've all been waiting for. We're gonna put the sheeting on the cycwall and turn it into an actual cycwall. Like this is where it becomes a cyclorama, at least a one-axis cyclorama. We're not doing the floor because we don't need the floor. Like, this is a setup. So I marked the center on my sheet. I've got a center line on the wall. Now, I just did the studs where it made sense to do the studs. There's not gonna be a nailer point here, so we're gonna put that in as we go. But I wanna get the first sheet in, which will tell me where my wings come. I wanna have as few seams as possible in the middle. So I'm setting the sheet on the center line, like matching the center of the sheet with the center line on the wall. And that will give, I'll have 2 horizontal seams, but almost all the big seams in it will be out here at the edges, which is kind of out of the shot, which is kind of dumb when you think about it, because it might be better to have a seam right in the middle, because when you're standing there, you're blocking the seam. But this is how I'm doing it. So what I'm doing is just I swept out really good, got the floor nice and clean, because this is true with drywall too. It's a thing you don't think about until you do it. Anything that's sitting on the floor as you kick the sheet back gets smushed up against the wall, and it'll push the sheet out and you'll fuck it up. Don't do that. So we're gonna guide this in so all the centers line up. We're good there, all right? Now, we're gonna wanna have tools within, I'll put that right there, it's actually a good spot. Within easy reach as we do this. Now I'm gonna pilot drill the holes because I'm doing this with like a 5mm plywood. It's a really thin plywood. Your mileage will vary. I've seen this done with all kinds of stuff, like drywall and Luan, all kinds of shit. I'm doing it with plywood, but it's really thin plywood. I've never done it with really thin plywood before, and I have a concern. We might crack something, but we'll see how that works out. So I'm just gonna kiss this. Just enough to get my screw through. Once I get a couple screws in, I won't have to hold this so tenuously. All right, so I'm making sure before I put this first screw in, I'm making sure everything's flush where I want it. Is it? Is it really? No, it looks like this is where we come into play of, is the floor level? Yeah, that sits all right. That sits all right. All right, I'm calling it. I'm doing it. I'm good here. That one's in. All right, I gotta bring my tension out a little bit. All right, so we've got that. Now I'm gonna shoot this whole line all the way down before I go on to any others, because this is gonna give me a tight reference. So I move my laser line over here. This is so cool. I'm excited. Nope, I ain't answering that right now. This is not a good time. Why? Why now? Why you do this? What you need? Cool. Excellent idea. Love you. See you soon. Okay, bye. Shit. Laser level says it's perfect, which is really cool. So that's the first sheet in. It follows all the right bends. We've got a nice smooth radius here and there, and it shows us that on this side, this stud needs a sister. We're actually going to double it here. There will be triple studs here, just because that's how it lines up. I might put a single in. I don't know. We'll see. No, it's gonna be three. It's gonna be three. You'll see why. I want one that's right behind this edge, and I want one that's right behind this edge, and I want them to seam nice and smooth. On this side, we're just one beyond, so I'm only gonna put in one here, and that'll track all the way up. So I'm gonna do all my studs, so it'll be three pieces there and three pieces there, and once that's in, then I'll do, this is the second sheet, that is the third sheet, and then here, and then there, and those pieces might go vertically because that would save me a little seam. If I can cut it, we'll see. It's gonna be tricky. But it's such a narrow piece, I can get that edge up to 8 feet and this edge up to 8 feet out of a single sheet, because that's only like a foot wide. So I can use that for a single sheet, and then we'll see what we get for the top. So it's gonna be 1, 2, and change. 3 and a bit. So 4 sheets should do it, and I got 5, so I think we'll be all right. This is cool. This is working, and I'm excited. This is so neat. All right, so the next step is I gotta cut some wood, and I gotta change everything around to do that because I got my camera set up and the saw's way over there, so I'm gonna move everything around, and when we come back, we'll be cutting wood. All right, so it's later now. And help has arrived, it's okay. So we're gonna cut the studs for the thing and get our pieces in. We have to put studs here, 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 and here, 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 like that. By the way, throughout this entire series, and for 20 years of my life, I've been calling it the wrong thing. I looked it up because I got curious and I was like, I don't think that's the right word. This piece of wood is called a noggin. I don't know why. It's got to be British. It feels British. Studs, noggins. No part of this is a stringer. Noggins. Now you know. That's your new word of the day. 38 and an eighth. Oh, yeah. As you get older, don't put your tools away. Just leave them in the last place you use them, and this creates a memory exercise that'll help delay the onset of dementia. It felt so good, let's do it again. 34 and 7/8. Engage safety squints. Yeah, that's fine. 37 and 7/8. That barking noise means amateur operator.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the pros do it, it doesn't make that sound. 37 and 7/8. 34 and 7/8. So we bring this in, we lift it up. We gotta bring it down to that level. I am on center line. Okay, so come down until you touch. Go your way a little bit. Okay, that's good. Lean right here with everything you got. The edges don't matter, just stay here. As long as it's touching on both edges, we're square. Just push this, like right on that line, push it right in there. Isn't this fun? They get easier as you come out of the radius. Cool. 20 and a quarter, 20 and a quarter. Okay, we're good. We're on. Isn't this fun? You having fun?
This is a horrible idea. Just hang a green curtain next to it.
All right, we did a thing there. That was fun. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that great? We get to do it 4 more times. Trying to cut into the wood. So this would be better with a router, is the lesson we learned there. Oh yeah, I like that way better. Oh yeah, that is the tool to use. My little Colt router just made the rotozip its bitch. But you wouldn't want to use this for a lot of rotozip applications. Also, this costs like 3 times as much.
Rotozip's great for drywall.
Rotozip's great for drywall. It's designed for drywall, and it's cheap enough to be disposable, so you can burn them up with drywall dust. You won't want to do that with that. That just wants to breathe sawdust. All right, so now we gotta do that piece and that side, and then we're done. It's so close. All right, we got 2 little pieces at the top to do, and then it's done. 21 by 17. the same thing on the other corner and we're done. Time is 21:14 hours and it's sheathed. We now have a wrapped cyc wall and it's starting to look like a cyc wall. It's pretty cool. There is some sanding work to be done, but you can that is so bad. That is really epically bad. But I had this problem when I did this sheet on my own, and you know what we could do? We have one extra sheet. We could take this out and put in one extra sheet. The good news is we could get rid of this gap, which is hard to mud. The bad news is in getting rid of this gap, we would replace it with adding a gap here. Because if that goes in, this is going to come in here. And I'm fine with that. Because it could be really easy to put a sheet in here now because we have things to brace against on either side and just boom. We might do this tomorrow. We'll see. But for now, it's done. And I am exceedingly happy with it. This is rough carpentry. This is not finished carpentry. So like the fact that we got most of the seams this tight is amazing. All in all, it's really good. As it is right now, mud and tape, and this would be a perfectly serviceable cyc wall. But I might swap this out. We'll see how motivated I am in the morning. We'll have a look at that. But for now, it's done. Up until today, it was 26 hours of footage. And I don't know how many hours we shot today, but it was 26 hours of footage for everything up to yesterday, and including yesterday. So it's been a lot. You'll probably get this whole series at once. It's not gonna, I know the people watching on live are gonna be like, I haven't seen any video. It takes a long time to edit this, but I hope that your cyc wall has gotten to this point. And if you have, please post pictures. Just comment below, post pictures, get into Discord, the link's below in the description. I wanna see your projects. If you're building stuff like this, I really wanna see your stuff. I wanna cheer you on because I know how hard this is to do. I'm not a carpenter by any means. I am the non-essential craftsman. And to have built this, I'm pretty jazzed about it. This is really cool. And it's gonna make a lot of really cool videos. And maybe we'll get to help a lot of really cool people. You guys have fun. I'm Chris Bowden. And as always, I'll see you next time.